Welcome to Brain Food Bytes. My name is David Teykaerts, and I'm the Executive Director of CalSavers. CalSavers is the state-run program that offers a retirement savings program for workers who do not have access to a retirement plan through their workplace. As most folks that are of any familiarity with retirement savings know, by far the most successful way for people to accumulate wealth and to save for their retirement is to have the money automatically deducted from their paychecks before it ever hits that checking account where it's most likely to be spent. It's most likely to be spent if it hits my checking account, and I'm the executive director of a retirement savings program. So let's quickly go ahead and review CalSavers, how it works, and then we'll get into the two most recent exciting developments that I think that you'll want to know about. Taking a look here at our slide, we've got the five sort of core concepts. Starting at the top, I've already mentioned it, is the concept of payroll deductions as the fundamental, most important, and most successful way that most people start to save for their future retirement. In fact, people are 15 times more likely to accumulate savings if it's done automatically out of their paycheck without their volitional decision-making every time. That actually goes up to 20 times more likely if it is done automatically. So even the decision to start savings becomes automated. That's our second one here, going to the right clockwise. Automatic saver enrollment and contributions. With CalSavers, if the worker does nothing, if they do not actively opt out, then they are actually nudged into participating in the program. The third key core concept is auto escalation of contribution rates. CalSavers' default contribution rate is 5% of the paycheck. That then goes up 1% every year to a total of 8%. The employees can always adjust that, go faster, slower, lower, higher, but that is the basic default assumption, and that's by far the most common way that most people do this. The fourth key to CalSavers is low barriers for employers to comply with this. Some of the big challenges for employers and reasons why they weren't already offering a retirement plan such as a 401k or other option is that it's perceived to be expensive. It's difficult. It comes with a fiduciary liability, and it might involve employer matching. None of those things come into play with CalSavers. The program, it has no fee. The program has no fiduciary liability. It's easy and simple to administer. And not only is employer matching not encouraged, it's not even possible at all. So it's really been designed to make it as easy and frictionless for employers as it can be. And then the fifth and final important concept for success of the program is that it is in fact mandated. It is required for employers to participate in this program for their employees. And there are in fact stiff penalties for noncompliance. That's essential. While this is not intended to penalize employers, we all know that there is always going to be a group of people from any walk of life who are just going to need that extra push to do the right thing at the end. And that's what this is about. So here's the first of the big announcements that I wanted to share with you. It has to do with the concept of what we call Wave 4. So when we refer to waves, we're referring to the incremental rollout of the CalSavers program since its initial pilot in 2018 and then its official launch in 2019. The first wave was for employers that had 100 or more employees. The second wave was for those with 50 or more. Third wave was 5 or more. And then the fourth and final wave is where we are right now. Wave 4 applies to California employers with 1 to 4 employees. Correct. As few as 1 employees will qualify now in order to, as far as having to facilitate the program and make access to a retirement savings program available for their workers. The registration and really compliance deadline for this is December 31st, 2025. Okay, so we define compliance as both registering and facilitating. The action verb, okay, the actual moving of money has to be done by December 31st of this year. After that, employers will enter a penalty phase, which we all want to avoid. To help incentivize that, we are offering an exciting new employer incentive campaign, which I'll get into more in a second. That's the second big announcement. Eligibility. This applies to businesses with at least 1 employee other than the owner or the owner's spouse. Please underline, highlight, and kind of get that in your mind, other than the owner or the owner's spouse. So that's going to exclude sole proprietors and the self-employed. Although they can participate, it is voluntary for them. Employer responsibilities in terms of what they have to do remains the same from any past wave. So if you've ever worked with a business that participates in CalSavers, it's the same. They simply register, they upload their roster, then they facilitate the payroll deductions for employees into their Roth IRA, and then they maintain that roster as employees move on, join the company. They have to update the roster and the payroll data regularly using our easy-to-use employer portal. The employee benefits here are also excellent. There's automatic enrollment, which I mentioned, but opt-out is available. Employees can stop anytime. They don't have to participate, but this is all about access, making access available to folks that are drawing a paycheck. This involves portable Roth IRA accounts. If you're wondering, yes, a traditional IRA is also available, but by far the Roth IRA is the most commonly used, and it makes the most sense for the average folks that participate in this program. Employees can also choose their contribution rates, as I mentioned earlier, although it starts at 5, and there's a menu of investment options that they could choose from. If they do nothing, it defaults them into a basic target dated fund, which has a glide path of asset allocations based on their age and projected retirement year. Lastly, I want to share with you that we have some good news. Like some employers will say, oh, another burdensome government program. Here's the good news. For employers that comply early, we are offering a first ever of its kind $500 early incentive campaign option. This campaign is going to run through November 30th of 2025 for all these newly mandated employers. And it's over 500,000 new employers, folks. This is a big, big number. And our goal is to get as many of them facilitating early as we can. All they have to do to be eligible for this incentive campaign is to really facilitate the program, submit all eligible employees, and maintain the roster, which is what they're going to have to do anyway. We're just encouraging them to get started early, not wait until the last moment, which is, again, New Year's Eve, not the time when you want to be desperately trying to figure out how to do this first ever thing for these businesses. In order to qualify, the business must have at least one participating employee. So they actually have to facilitate and fund that IRA for at least one participating employee, and then they have to stick with it, okay? No one and done and then getting eligible. Eligible employers will be automatically entered into 2 drawings. If you win on the first one, you can't win again, sorry. And we'll have a selection of 2,000 total winners who will each be awarded $500. And again, just want to highlight, employers must maintain compliance to be eligible for that drawing. So we'll review all of that. Our hope here is that folks who may see the penalties as the stick of the equation will see that we're also offering this carrot. We are trying to give back to the business community, recognizing that we're asking them to do something new for the first time ever. Even though it's for everyone's better good, it is still new, it is still doing something. And in order to incentivize and catalyze that, we're hoping that this opportunity to win $500 for, again, the tiniest of micro employers, $500 could be potentially quite meaningful here. We're hoping that this will move the needle a bit. So that's the message today. Again, my name is David Teykaerts, Executive Director of CalSavers. Here's how you can reach us and get in contact with us and see our information and follow us on social. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.